Have you ever observed how some people seem to effortlessly command the atmosphere around them, all without uttering a word? They don't shout, they don't demand attention, they simply retreat. And when they do, everything around them seems to change. The energy in the room becomes almost palpable, as if a subtle shift occurs that everyone feels, but no one can explain. People are drawn to them, instinctively trying to understand what just happened. What once felt ordinary and calm now carries an unseen charge. Now, imagine what would happen if you did the same. What if you decided to stop reacting to everything the moment it happens? What if, instead of giving in to automatic responses, you chose silence over impulsive reactions? What if you stepped back and observed instead of engaging? This is where real transformation begins. When you stop being perpetually available, emotionally, physically, and mentally, the world around you experiences a kind of disarray. People have become accustomed to controlling you through your predictable responses, your impulses, and your emotional availability. They know exactly how you'll react. But when you choose to step back, everything changes. Those who thought they understood you, those who believed they had you figured out, suddenly find themselves faced with uncertainty. It shakes them. They are forced to confront their own vulnerabilities, because your retreat disrupts the balance of power that once existed. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. When you choose to retreat, your actions, or lack thereof, speak louder than any words. This is especially true when you stop making yourself constantly accessible. The reactions of others become more evident. Consider this. When you stop engaging right away, who becomes desperate? Who feels the need to provoke you to get a reaction? Who struggles with your silence? This reveals much more about them than it does about you. It shows just how much you've been giving away, often without realizing it. You've been trying to please, trying to keep the peace, afraid of losing people who were never truly with you. With every forced yes, every quick response, every emotional reaction, you are losing pieces of yourself. By the end of the day, what is left? Fatigue, frustration, a sense of emptiness you can't quite explain. But here's the reason why. You've been too available to people who don't deserve even a moment of your silence. This isn't about abandoning the world. It's about choosing yourself. It's about understanding what Carl Jung called the process of individuation, the journey toward becoming your true, authentic self. Individuation begins when you realize that silence can often be more powerful than 1,000 words. When you choose to withdraw with awareness, when it's a conscious decision and not just an escape, that's when the real power begins to emerge. When you stop being perpetually available, it forces others to reevaluate their understanding of you. This withdrawal doesn't just affect the immediate environment. It disrupts the patterns people have grown to expect. Those who once depended on your emotional availability will begin to feel uncomfortable, and this discomfort will reveal their true intentions. No longer can they use your responses to control the interaction. Instead, they are left with the realization that they don't truly understand you. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once stated, he who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster. This applies to your emotional responses as well. When you are constantly reacting to the emotional demands of others, you are in a way becoming the very thing you are trying to avoid: predictable, controllable, and drained. By choosing to retreat, by choosing silence, you are no longer playing into this game. You stop feeding into the cycle of manipulation, and that is when you begin to see the true nature of your relationships. We have all been conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to how much we can give, how much we can offer emotionally, mentally, and physically. From childhood, we are taught that our value is measured by how much we are there for others, how available we are. But this isn't a virtue. It's a prison. The more accessible you are, the less respect people have for you. They stop seeing you as a person with needs and start viewing you as a resource to be tapped into when they need comfort, validation, or attention. When you stop answering every call, when you stop responding to every message immediately, when you stop trying to please everyone, it changes the dynamic. People who once relied on your availability will feel the shift. Some will feel abandoned. others will get frustrated. But what they won't understand is that you are not abandoning them. You are choosing to reclaim your power. As Jung pointed out, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This process of individuation, of becoming your authentic self, requires periods of withdrawal. It's only in these moments of silence and solitude that you begin to understand who you are beyond the roles and expectations placed upon you. You are no longer a tool in someone else's emotional toolbox. By setting boundaries, by refusing to be constantly at the beck and call of others, you begin the difficult but necessary journey of self-discovery. This is when you start to recognize what truly matters: your peace, your energy, and your authenticity. Silence is often misunderstood. It is not the absence of noise, but the presence of something far more powerful: your true self. When you embrace silence, you are no longer reacting to the constant demands of the world around you. Instead, you are creating space for inner transformation. The world may expect you to engage, to explain, to justify, to always respond. But true power lies in choosing when and how to react, or when not to react at all. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke famously said, "The only journey is the one within." This journey of silence isn't about becoming indifferent or cold. It's about reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your authenticity. The more you withdraw, the more you create space for your true self to emerge. In this silence, you begin to shed the personas, the masks that you've been wearing to meet the expectations of others. You are no longer a character in someone else's story. You are the author of your own narrative. And this is where real transformation happens. But silence isn't always easy. People around you will feel uncomfortable with your new boundaries. They may criticize you, label you as distant or selfish. But the truth is, you haven't changed. You've simply stopped playing by their rules. You've stopped allowing them to control your energy. The discomfort others feel when you stop reacting is not because you've become a different person, but because you are no longer serving the role they need you to play. Jung's idea of the persona, the mask we wear to gain acceptance and approval, helps us understand why this process is so difficult. When we are constantly available, constantly responding, we are feeding into the persona, the false version of ourselves that we present to the world. But when we choose silence, when we withdraw and say no without guilt, we begin to break free from this mask. We begin to reconnect with the essence of who we truly are. In this space of silence, you will encounter resistance. The people who relied on your availability will react, some with anger, others with confusion. But this resistance is a sign of your transformation. The more you embrace silence, the more you will realize how much you've been living for others instead of yourself. And this is when the real freedom begins. As the writer Anais Nin once said, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." Your withdrawal, your decision to reclaim your energy and your peace, is the moment when you begin to bloom into your true self. The world may not understand it at first, but those who are meant to stay in your life will respect you more for it. They will appreciate you for your authenticity, your boundaries, and your ability to live on your own terms. When you stop being available to everyone, everything changes. The dynamics of your relationships shift. You will begin to see who truly values you for who you are, not just for what you can provide. And those who leave, they were never truly with you. They were only interested in what you could give them. But as you move forward, you will find yourself surrounded by people who respect your boundaries and who truly appreciate the person you are, not the version of you that was available to meet their every need. This is the ultimate power of silence. It is not a passive retreat. It is an active reclaiming of your life. The more you embrace this silence, the more you will realize that you are no longer living for the approval of others. You are living for yourself. And in doing so, you will begin to create the life you were always meant to lead. A life that is fully aligned with your true